Good morning all, happy Friday. How are you doing? I am Danielle, also known as the Queen Bee. Welcome back to my channel. I thought I would do kind of a traditional floss tube video today. I haven't done one in a long time and it's kind of weird that I haven't. But anyway, you'll have to excuse me. I'm wearing my spare glasses and everything today because my old ones, my usual ones, are starting to break. I know, it's time. It's time to get my eyes done again. So, yeah, if I look weird, it's because I'm wearing my spare glasses. But I like these spare glasses. They actually fit me better now than they used to. Woke up late. That was fun. I thought that my husband, you know, was on the ball with it this morning, and I ended up waking him up at like 8:15. I was like, guy, we gotta, you know, get a move on here. I'm out of frame because I have a cat that's being a doofus. There we go. So yeah, anyway, this morning was a bit harried, but we got her done. I got everybody out the door. So here I am. Okay, so what I will do is I'm gonna do a parade. You're gonna like it. I think, anyway. I hope. Okay, so first thing is a finish, fully finished. You can see my screen. That's why it's always kind of hard to show these things finished. Alright, there we go. I know you can see glare and reflections all over the place and lights and all of that, but that's my Marilyn that I did, a Marilyn sugar skull on hand-dyed Ada that I did myself. I bought no floss for this project. I used all of the stuff that I had in my stash. I got this pattern at Cross Stitch with Art, I want to say. I will definitely link her in the description box so you will see where I got her. She was complimentary as part of a buy one get one, so I actually didn't pay for this pattern. But isn't she fun? The only changes I made were to her eyes. I added that turquoise, the turquoise eyeshadow, and the spider web on her forehead. The pattern calls for it to be stitched in 310. I didn't. I used some kind of a gray that I had. I don't remember the color or the number, but it's a gray instead, because I used about 3 skeins of black on this piece as it sits, and I was like, if I don't need to use more black, I probably won't on this particular piece. And the hair, I added in this kind of a more golden highlight throughout in the kind of darker areas, and to add some dimension out here, because I wasn't going to have enough floss in that one very pale yellow color. So I thought, well, to make it a little bit fun and comic booky, why don't we do it that way? So that's what I did, and I had that red already for her lips, and that was it. So I actually didn't have to pay anything for this piece. I already had the Ada, had the floss. The frame I got at the Dollar Tree, so it was literally $1 for this entire project, which I think is pretty impressive. Just saying. I finished it. I do have a video clip of me finishing her, but it's pretty simple because I didn't have like a proper foam core or anything, and I wanted to hang her up and get her kind of up out of the laundry room and stuff, because I don't like letting my pieces sit there unprotected. It just seems risky. So I took some double-sided tape and I just taped the extra Ada around the cardboard that came with it. Now I know some people will be like, why did you do that? Well, I used acid-free photo-safe tape, and I don't really worry so much about, my chair is lowering. I don't want to fret too much over the heirloomness of my things. If somebody wants to keep it forever and ever, they certainly can. But if it changes color or something like that over time, then, you know, whatever. It's just part of the work. I don't mind. Plus, by then, I'll probably be dead, so I really won't have time to care if I'm dead. Okay, so the next thing is this sugar skull. Now, if you've watched my channel, you will know that I finished this a while ago. I finished this in the summer. It is now October, so it really needs to be fully completed. And I know you people are looking at it going, Danielle, you stitched right to the edges. That was my daughter's phone. And you'd be right. I did. I stitched right to the edges. I had this weird size of Ada to use, and this was the smallest pattern I had, and it was a really good color for this pattern, in my opinion. So I was like, well, I'm gonna do it anyway. So I did, and this pattern has a lot of back stitching. Pretty much every element, actually, is backstitched, basically. I think I used the called for flosses for the most part. I did include some rayon floss for backstitching, mostly around the edges, and I used for the sparkly bits, I used sulky embroidery thread. It's a 40 weight, I believe, machine thread. It's a machine thread, but I doubled it over on my needle, and I just used that for the decorative yellow because I wanted a bit of a sheen, and I didn't have the right kind of a yellow in DMC rayon, and I wanted a finer look, finer thread for it, so that's why I used machine for that, machine thread. Anyway, I've been agonizing over how to finish this piece for, well, ever since I finished it, so I came up with a plan, I think. Now, there's all kinds of little bits and pieces. This piece is a little bit more complex. I am lucky enough to have a really cool, crafty, dollar-y kind of a store close by. It's a one-off, it's not a chain. It's called Scattered Goods, and it is really, really interesting. They have lots of really cool things. It's almost like a thrift store. Their stuff is inexpensive. And they have, of all things, I don't know why, this is kind of random, but they have mats. This is a mat frame for photos that go in frames, right? And I was like, and they're cheap. They're like $1. So I was like, well, So that set me to thinking that I could probably, maybe, can probably finish this around it. I mean, we'll have to see, but I can probably finish this in such a way that it will wrap around here, hopefully. I pulled some DMC that works really well, so if I end up like lacing it in some way, then I'll probably just use this because it'll be a decorative kind of a lace. I was thinking of doing like, well, giant cross stitches or something around the edge to stick it on. Of course I will use tape as well, double-sided photo safe tape. And then I was thinking, I have this board that I got at Scattered Goods for, I think, $1.50 or something. It's just a piece of pine, and it's got the hanging holes cut in already on the back. So I thought I would wrap the cross stitch around the mat board, and then I have some really cool ephemera, paper ephemera like you would get from the scrapbooking section, and I'm gonna collage that down on here so that it's not just plain pine anymore, and stick that, you know, on top of it. Then I'm not done. I found some really fun other goodies that would go with this thing really, really well. I found, well, this was kind of an impulse because it was inexpensive, but it's really fun. It's some scrapbooking tape that I don't know if you can really tell, but it is lace that is tape. So yeah, it's scrapbook safe, acid free, all that good stuff. So I thought that would be fun to have, just to have, but I might use it in this project as well because I like the idea of some adhesive lace to kind of frame it. And I bought another piece of wood, but it's a rectangle, and it too has the hanging things on the back. So I thought what I would do is make it a sign that goes like underneath, like so. Why, do you say? Why, you say? Because on top of this, I found really cool laser cut things out of wood. These are laser cut keys, as you can see, antique looking keys, and letters. And those of you who know me know that I have a writing degree, so I like letters. I have a thing for letters. So when I found these wooden laser cut letters, I was like, that is the bomb. So I'm going to either paint or collage something on this little thing and either spell out with the wood letters like ofrenda or something like that. And then put that, hang it like underneath the sugar skull and have this kind of Spanish, very, you know, Mexican Dia de los Muertos kind of look, and I thought that would be really cool. So I've got some finishing ahead of me for that. That one's a bit of a process. It's going to involve some drying time and just some planning ahead and things like that, which is fine. And I promise I will do my best to record it so that you can watch along with me if you are so interested. Alright, that's the end of that. I have now, I bought a frame, I think, or a canvas, I can't decide, for my Dragonfly. This is another one that I finished a while ago, quite a while ago, on this really cool 14 count linen cotton blend Aida. It's really, really nice Aida. I really enjoyed using it. This was a really, really cool piece, again from that Cross Stitch with Art Etsy store. By the way, the sugar skull comes from Plato Squirrel. That's where the sugar skull comes from. I will link everything, don't worry. But yeah, I got this as a complimentary pattern as well from Cross Stitch with Art. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. This one was lots of fun. Because it's like a fantasy looking dragonfly. But I washed it already once, but it's been a while and it's been sitting in the laundry room, so I think I'm gonna just wash it again. And if I need to, I will block it or press it or something to keep it square and easy to deal with. Here's another piece that I finished a long time ago on a nice big piece of Ada. Big. This is from Plato Squirrel as well on Etsy. The Pepsi Can is full coverage. As you can, I'm sure you can tell that. I used all of the called for colors. I didn't change anything. The only thing I changed is I added the cross and the RIP 1993. The original pattern has full cross stitches that spell out what 1993 tasted like. I believe that's what it originally says on the pattern. But I thought, I think I'll just do back-stitched RIP 1993, and the cross is done with, crosses. Just because, well, 1993 was a long time ago, and it is a year that is full of both fond and bad memories. So I'm mostly glad that it's in the past, let's say. But that piece was very challenging. It had a lot of, I mean, not challenging in like skill level challenging, it's just, it was labor intensive because there was a lot of confetti of very similar blue colors, very pale blue. Like most of what seems to be white in this piece is not white. And of course, I have another project here that is on the go, the Stitch Along. Boop. Caterpillar Cross Stitch, Adventure Awaits. Woo, that's really wavy of me, I'm sorry. That's the most, it's up to date. The most recent installment was down here, which I imagine is like the South Pole. The dolphin, this building that I'm not sure what it is. Australia with a boomerang, cute little boomerang, and a bridge, and the Sydney Opera House, and a coral reef. That's supposed to be a coral reef, I believe. It's like visible from the ocean. I seem to remember reading that when Sally sent the PDF out to everyone. This is all my own colors. Again, I'm stitching from stash with that one. The only thing I bought specially for it was the Ada cloth, which I tea-dyed, which is in a video of its own, which you are welcome to check out. I can link to it in the end card, actually. I can link to it. And, oh, I didn't bring one thing over. That's probably the most cool thing. So I'm gonna get it. Oh, right. Just when you thought you saw lots of orange Ada in this piece, here's the rest of it. Isn't he the bomb? This is Edgar Allan Poe. I got him from the Witchy Stitcher on Etsy. She's really fun. Her name is Meg, and all her designs are really fun, funky, kind of spooky, Halloween-y patterns. So if you like this kind of thing, if you like Ouija boards, if you like pop culture, if you like witchcrafty kind of looking things, go to her shop. It's really good. You'll be happy you did. Her prices are quite reasonable, and she's a really nice person to deal with. So if you have any issues or questions or concerns, she's very nice to talk to online if you have to. She's on Instagram by the same name. Another reason I like shopping at her store is because she lives close by. She lives about an hour or so away from me. So we've been chatting on Instagram about maybe, you know, having a big old stitch and bitch or something. But we're not, you know, it's not official, but it could happen. Keep your eye out there. It could happen. So anyhow, I made my own some modifications to Edgar. The pattern has a crescent moon on his forehead, which is really fun. It's really cute, but I thought it's the raven that quoth nevermore, said the raven. So I thought, well, we already have Edgar pretty clearly, so I want a reference to the raven somehow. So I thought, why don't I put the raven on his forehead? And the raven came out of his imagination, so that's why I did that. And I stitched it, just the raven, not the rest of the black, but the raven is in 310 light effect, 310. So it's got a bit of a sheen. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's got a bit of a luster to it that the rest of the black doesn't. I also added, the chart kind of suggests that you use like a white-ish color, but instead I stitched the whites of his eyes this kind of toxic yellow, which is really cool looking in the dark. And the O in Nevermore, I decided to fill with that same toxic yellow, and I found like a variegated green and yellow chartreuse DMC floss that I used as well, and I kind of mixed it all up together so it looked like this really funky color. And as you can see, even though the pattern is officially done, I mean, I could just, you know, call that finished, but I wasn't ready because Meg put out a really fun pattern bundle that I got with a coupon code because I'm on her mailing list. If you sign up, you will get really cool emails from her with links to her shop and what's new in the shop, and there's often coupon codes in there, so you can get, you know, 10% off or whatever. So I already had this pattern, and I was already working on it actually when I got that email, and I saw that she had put together this really fun bundle of kind of Halloween-y, spooky fun stuff. So I was going to be going there to buy a Ouija board bundle anyway. She has a pattern set that was both a Ouija board and the planchette that goes with it. So I bought that, and I got this pattern bundle that happened to have this really cool Halloweenish kind of wallpaper. I don't want to say Halloweenish because it's not like, you know, pumpkins and witches. It's gothic, more of a gothic kind of a look, and I thought, well, that's just perfect. So I'm gonna stitch 4 of the big gothic motifs in each corner around Edgar, and I think that'll make a really cool kind of, I folded it, I'll unfold it again. That's what that little bit in the bottom there is. See that, where that floss is right there? I think that color number is 844, if I'm not mistaken. It's a really cool, it's a nice dark charcoal-y kind of color. I like using that a lot when I've got black to do. I like using it in concert with that charcoal kind of color. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna finish finished. There's a motif. It's going to end about here. I'm going to do the same motif here. And then there's there's different ones that are going to go up here. So it'll make like a really nice rectangular piece. And I have another, I bought another, I went on like a bit of a spree. I bought the Tiny Modernist. It is a mystery stitch along as well, but it's Halloween themed. There's only one more installment to go. I'm very late to that bandwagon, but it's really, really cute. I saw the pattern on Andrea's, I think it was Andrea's channel, Stitching Shadows. She's a lot of fun. I got a really cool postcard from her. I should get that postcard. Just a minute. This is from Andrea. Isn't that fun? I love it. She and her husband went to Salem not too long ago, and she said to, comment, below with, I would like a postcard or something. She told us to do something specific in the comments, to randomly be chosen for a postcard, because she had a whole bunch. So I was like, I want one. So I won one of them. So I'm really, really excited, because she lives all the way in Massachusetts. And that's a long way away from where I live, so I was impressed that she was willing to send me a postcard all the way here in Canada, and not even just Canada, but the west of Canada. So, yeah. Oh, and another thing, I found another project. I never used to be this way. If you watch my first videos, I had like one project. I never had like a whole bunch. But I found another one. This is going to be a brain. I got the brain pattern from Awesome Pattern Studio on Etsy as well. She, I forget her name, the lady who designs these. She's Russian, I believe. One side of the brain, one hemisphere, is going to be kind of grays and tans and kind of neutrals. The other side, which is basically symmetrical, is done in more of a rainbow. It's a neutral, kind of soft, gradated, but rainbow effect. There's like blues and yellows and oranges and stuff in it. It's really, really cool looking. It'll be cool when it's done. The other thing that's kind of interesting about this piece is, if I go up closer, you will see, I hope, maybe. I haven't had enough coffee, so I'm not steady enough. This is not Ada. This is Evenweave. It's 28 count. So it's not like, super fine or anything. But it's Evenweave. I've never ever stitched a project, not a cross-stitch project anyway, on Evenweave. I've used Evenweave for other forms of stitching before. But never for cross-stitching. So this is why I started this a while ago, and I just was like, you know what, I need a break. So, and that's why I got into finishing, or starting Edgar, and then buying other projects, because I have a supply of Ada that I wouldn't mind using, that I dyed during the summer. Anyway, when I was at the store shopping for all the different colors for this project, for the brain, I was like, I do want some new fabric, and I like to learn. I like to get experience in all different areas of a certain art form. So I saw some Charles Craft Ada, some Charles Craft Evenweave. I always thought that things like Evenweave, Joblin, Monaco, I thought those were all different linens. I didn't think there are different types of woven linen. I didn't know that they kind of were more nebulous. But I find the more confetti-ish parts of it more challenging, a lot more challenging than the parts where I can just, you know, work my way up a straight line, for example, of one color. Because it spatially, it's just different, right? Like, it's not like, I have to get my head in this different mindset. Like, when you're used to using Ada, for me anyway, I am used to just looking for the holes. You're just covering the blocks in the middle of the holes, right? So you're not counting, in a sense, the holes. You're counting the squares. That's the way I operate anyway, in my head. I'm like, okay, I have to move over this many blocks, you know, before I can put another stitch in, right? Whereas with Evenweave, and I would appreciate any guidance that's out there that you wish to share. With Evenweave, I'm finding I'm kind of getting stumped a little bit on like the, how do I say? Because I know you're working with 9 holes. It's harder though for me to count one block and then another stitch and then another stitch and then another stitch, because I'm having to do this kind of sub-counting of all the holes so that I don't go and sink my needle through the wrong hole. So it's trickier when you have to get out, like out here where there's 1 or 2 of, you know, 1 or 2 stitches, and they're kind of separate, like these 3 up here. But if any of you out there watching this have advice that's like right on the top of your head that you're like, duh, why are you not thinking about this? This is what makes it easy. Please share. That would be fantastic. Because I see so many beautiful things stitched on linen of very high counts. I've seen some people out there stitching on, you know, 40 count and even higher. And I'm like, one, how do you see that, even with magnification and a good light? I don't know how you can see that. And I like the fact that you can scale a pattern way down if you need to with linen. Like you can be stitching at a sort of a, what would work out to be like a, I don't know, 14 count Ada, for example. But then on the same linen, if you wanted extra detail, you could get it on a face or something, because you could go 1/1 or something like that. See, 1/1 would be easy to me in that respect, because I don't have to, I wouldn't have to do all this like sub-counting in the squares. Anyway, I know I'm going on a huge tangent about that, but that's where I'm officially at. You've seen absolutely everything now, I think. Anyway, I hope you all are doing well. I hope all of you fellow Canadians have had a really good Thanksgiving. I know that that happened a week ago or so. So, yeah, I know. But, yeah. Hi, other Canadians out there. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you all had some good vegetables and things. And Americans, well, you'll just have to wait. That's the end of that. I'm gonna finish this coffee because it's getting cold, and I'm gonna work on Edgar once I'm done dealing with this video. So, as always, please, if you want to see this channel grow and thrive, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye!